Hello, hello. Thank you for tuning in. Zoom in a little bit. Thank you for tuning in, and let me get this set up. My name is Larry Duncan Allen. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of No More Water. Bye. Next time. I've been watching on television the protests out in Los Angeles. Now, I lived out in Los Angeles many years, and I know the town very well. And I've seen tear gas, at least what appeared to be tear gas. They were shooting something. Then I've seen smoke grenades, people throwing items at the police. Don't that sound like a riot? But then on the other hand, I've seen people more like in Ferguson, in different places, people just marching and chanting their what they see as a problem. But yet it was called a riot. There were some people who had nothing to do with the protests who went and vandalized some businesses and it had nothing to do with the protesters, but yet it was still called a riot. So what is it about Los Angeles that it's not called a riot? You don't see many of people look like me there. That's why. You see people of color, they still get a few perks that we don't get. And they are playing right into the orange man's hands. This is what he wanted. And we knew that. Put this down. You see, we knew that. They've been they're really trying to trying to push black people into getting out there doing that. I tell you how, if you look at most of the programs, they can't deport us like they do the others. But they thought that since Hispanics voted for him after he told them what he was going to do, excuse me, he thought that they would be comfortable with it. But they're not comfortable with it because they were comfortable with it when they thought other Hispanics other than their group would be deported. But what they thought would happen was if they stopped affirmative action, DEI, wipe black people's name off of if their name is on a ship or a building, take it off. Stop all black holidays. Stop teaching about anything about black people. That we would get angry and take to the streets. But what they didn't understand is that the things that they thought was affecting us actually wasn't affecting us. We didn't get much out of affirmative action. They just put a black face on it so white people could be against it. And they didn't realize that white people was getting more out of it than we were. I told you the numbers before. 17% set aside. And that 17% was black people, people of color, some of the immigrants, and white women. Black people was getting like 1% benefits from affirmative action, and black men was really getting nothing. If anyone got anything, it was black women because they were seen as a double minority. But black people got relatively nothing, and I mean nothing, from affirmative action. So it didn't hurt us. DEI. Black people is about the same. Was getting very few benefits of it. Matter of fact, most of us never even heard of DEI until after this election. But you see, but they thought it would hurt us and we would take to the streets and do what these people are doing. But what people didn't understand, and I mentioned this before, black people stopped with the marching after Ferguson. And the reason being is that we said it wasn't doing us any good. Black people protested for months in Ferguson and around the country after Michael Brown. And we saw that those tactics just doesn't work anymore. The 1960s civil rights tactics. And they just don't work anymore. Now they're doing what people thought we were going to do. The Latinos, they're doing what people thought we were going to do. But we fooled them. Black people aren't participating in none of that. They want us to because that's the only way they can deport us. If we get out there in the streets and do what these people are doing. Black people are citizens. They just can't deport us for anything. That's why they're not coming up in our neighborhoods. And they better not come up behind me in a mask on in an unmarked van. And don't you all let them come up behind you with that. Because if they do that, what's to stop some of the white supremacists from doing the same thing just to grab black people and throw them in a van and kill them, kidnap them? So you better think twice coming up in black neighborhoods in a van. Who can Ray? Leave each other alone. Y'all need to take care of that too. I see y'all on social media and what you got. But look, excuse me. We used some sense at this time, but they didn't realize that black people had actually stopped all the protesting. See, during the George Floyd incident, the reason there was the George Floyd reform bill, the only reason that happened is because there was mostly white people and others out there protesting, not black people. I told you before, I'm in media. I was out there covering some of it. I did one protest, the Stockton murder protest in St. Louis. I looked, the audience was behind me. I looked at the stage. There was all black people up there. When I turned around to film the audience, I couldn't find a black person. It's an old tactic for us. We stopped it. But people didn't realize that. They thought we were going to get out there this time to do it. Remember the couple who pulled the gun on the people in St. Louis that went viral? I was about a few minutes from that, but I left. I told you before the reason that I left. I think Lyda Crewson was the mayor then. And this was something really she had nothing to do with, but I just don't believe in going to the mayor's house to protest. They was going on their way to her house protesting. I don't do that. If I'm going to protest the mayor, I'm going to protest them at City Hall, not at their place of residence. But then, like I said, I don't protest anyway because I don't believe in peaceful protest. But that couple with the that pulled the gun, they said, but these were white people we pulled the gun on. Because see, black people wouldn't have paid them any attention. The white people stopped to confront them. the black people wouldn't have paid them any attention. Would have kept on marching. I saw the video where the black people was coming back trying to get them to tell them to come on. The men that Kyle Rittenhouse shot, and one of them he killed. I think one was a white Jew, the one that he killed. See, black people don't get into those skirmishes. Like I said, the only type of violence comes is when someone who's not even part of the movement, but not part of the protest, comes and want to run up in stores and grab something, see it as an opportunity. Now, as we got out of the protest, you notice how they start getting a little more violent. Because we're the only ones who are expected to have peaceful protests. Only us. And you notice this is not being called a riot in LA. At least on all the media that I've seen. And they may call it that on Fox News, but I don't watch Fox News. They'll make more out of everything. And you see how quick Trump called out the National Guard and federalized them going above the head of the governor? Usually the governor called out the National Guards. Now, the only time I know where the National Guards was federalized when they sent some off to Iraq and Afghanistan, which really wasn't part of their function, because when you sign on to the National Guard, they signed on for that the National Guard is for home. It's for it to be used in the United States. Excuse me, I'm be catching another bug. I've been doing that lately, and I haven't had a cold in the last 30 years. I don't know what's going on now. But look, so he federalized the National Guards, the California National Guards. Now, I know it was federalized during civil rights movement segregation to send those kids in school. Let me take a break and I'll be right back.
What's good, everybody? My name is Brandon Hunter, also known as OG Brando, and I am the founding formulator for the Origin of Greatness. In front of me, I have my products, the OG Hair Sheen, which is all-around great moisturizer, and then I have my hemp seed butter, which is all-around great moisturizer for the skin as well. If you have any questions about either of my products, please, you can find me at the Origin of Greatness on Instagram, the OG LLC on Facebook, and at our website at theog.net. And also be on the lookout for the OG in collab and connection with Tierra Speaks. You might just catch us, with some. We got a little collab going on. She got her thing with her self-care box, and so we got some things coming. But greatness is definitely on the way. Onward and upward.
Okay, I'm back. Thank you for staying with me. As I was saying, the only time that the National Guards was federalized that I know of to be used here in this country was during the segregation when Alabama was ordered to desegregate the schools, and George Wallace, the governor of Alabama, wouldn't comply. So John F. Kennedy, he was it Kennedy or was it Eisenhower? I believe it was Dwight Eisenhower. He federalized the National Guards and used them to send the children to school, the black children to school. So Trump couldn't wait to do that because, like I said, they thought it was going to be us out there. Let's just tell the truth. They thought it was going to be us. But we're fooling them. We're fooling them. They thought we were going to be out there and they was going to. See, they want to deport some of us, so deporting us. But see, the problem is they can't just deport us without a reason, just come up in our neighborhood and start deporting us. Because of the way we came and we're already citizens. Matter of fact, they had, I think, some Puerto Ricans who are citizens who even vote in our elections, even as a governor. They accidentally deported some of them. Now the man that they deported and sent to El Salvador, they brought him back, but they put up a lot of trumped up charges against him. But that's their problem. We got our own. See, because I tell you why. When I look on social media and hear all the derogatory stuff said about us, like during the tornado, when I read some of the stuff, the nasty comments made about black people during that the time of trouble, when we're caught in a natural disaster, people don't show pity. Just about all the comments from non-black people, including Latinos and people of color, were mocking black people in North St. Louis about the tornado. They were mocking them. Talking about the houses probably look better after the tornado hit it than it did before. When they saw the different people out there, the churches and other people helping them, they over there eating their food. But they were gonna be eating the church's food, but they're gonna be looting tonight. Oh, just all type of nasty comments. They troll us just to make nasty comments about us. And then you'll see some person, usually a white woman, come on there when we look on black people pages when we start firing back at them. We're all one race. We all need to get along, but they don't come on. They don't tell those people that. If we're supposed to be inferior, why are we supposed to be the moral supermen and superwomen? The moral people. If they're superior, they're supposed to be the moral people, teaching us how to be that way. Why we got to show the world how to, and this nation, how to be moral. So that's a protest out there, even though there's tear gas, they're throwing stuff, hitting policemen with it. They're doing all the things that a riot encompass. But it's not being called a riot, at least not from what I've seen. No, it's being called a protest. Yeah, it's a protest. But when we get out there, it's a riot. Well, all I can say is have fun. They've asked over and over again, where are we at? Where do you think we at? Mind our own business like you did. So you voted for this man because you thought that he was going to hurt us and other people that you don't like. The Latinos did that. You voted against your own interests. And now you're having a problem. So solve your own problem. Why should we get out there to help you? Solve your own problem. Solve what you started. You started it to hurt other people. Now it's hurting you. Cubans, as bad as this nation has treated Cuba, cut them off from the world market. Got a blockade against them. And I don't know why China and Russia go along with that mess. They're supposed to be powerful countries. Go into Cuba and do trade with them. China and Russia still act like they're afraid of the United States. They talk all that big talk. Why won't they go in and help Cuba? There's still a blockade of Cuba. The only way Cuba gets stuff, people have to sneak it in. They're still driving cars, American cars, cars from the United States rather, in Cuba from the 1950s before the blockade. Still driving those old cars because other nations are afraid of the United States blockade. Big bad Russia, big bad China going along with that. I don't know why the world is so afraid of the Caucasian race. Excuse me. So, and then when they have a problem, get in trouble, so empathetic towards them. But they're not empathetic towards anyone. Not as a people, maybe some individuals, but not as a people. But you Latinos, you thought you was honorary whites, didn't you? Oh, I remember all the stuff you said to us. The way you've always treated us. You treated us worse. Well, I mean, we have more white allies than we do people of color. You Indians come in here in your stores, talk about us in your language, take our money. Arabs come in, and we just let them run all over us. I say we, I'm not talking about me, but I'm talking about we as black people. They come in our neighborhoods, wherever they wanted to wear, like we scared of them or something. We take stuff off of other people that we wouldn't dare take off of each other. I see you on those YouTube videos in St. Louis, and all those assault rifles and all, talking about what you'll do to other black people. I see your videos talking about dealing with folks who harm our people, but you're talking about collaborators, other black people. When we gonna ever get to them? We're always trying to straighten our people out and never straightening our real enemies out. Over in South Africa, when they had apartheid, they used to have a thing they called the necklace. They take a car tire, put it on a person's neck, fill it full of gas, and light it. But they did it to the people who was collaborating with the apartheid system. But they did nothing to the people who started and was upholding the apartheid system. We always got to get our own. We never get around to them. Now, one white South African got a necklace on them. They were all black. All of them, 100%, were black. We never get around to our enemies. We got to straighten each other out all the time. You're scared of them. Just tell the truth. You're afraid of these white folks. You're afraid of these Arabs. You're afraid of Asians. You're afraid of everyone except black people. You're afraid of everyone except black people. We'll take care of each other in a minute over any little petty thing. Fussing and arguing, won't even come and talk to anyone. Come and fuss and argue at them. But you'll go to these other people all humble. I want to talk to you about such and such. But you'll come to a black person, hey, you, and ready to fight before you even find out what's going on. Because you're scared of everyone else. They got those people out there treating the LA police, who are notorious against black people, was treating with those people with such kid gloves. And that's why Trump called in the National Guard and federalized them. The California National Guards went over the governor's head and talking about arresting the governor of California. He went over their heads. But see, this was really meant for us. But even if not, it was meant for us, but we're fooling them. We're not participating. I went to the rally over in St. Louis and filmed it. but they haven't had one since. See, St. Louis is a city where even during the civil rights movement, there was nothing happening in this area. But they had one, and it was organized by a black person. And when I filmed the rally, he was the only black person there on the horn. He was the only black person there. Besides him and me, and I was just recording. We were the only black people there. Black people not getting involved in the mess that other people created. And I'm glad of that. Now, those who want to get involved, I can't tell you what to do. I don't think it's a good idea. But if you want to, you have to do what you feel you must have to do. Do what you feel you must. Because they want us out of here. And these people running up talking about race war. You all better start taking them serious. The only thing so far, they just been killing their own people. Talking about race war and killing their own people. They haven't been doing anything to us that we know of. I have heard talk of some people coming up missing, and it's not being talked about much or in the media much. See, this media we have now, they're afraid of Trump, and they're not really reporting much. And a lot of this YouTube media, you really can't trust it. I had to take some things down that I posted because they put up some things and I researched it. I found out that it wasn't true. So I'm going to have to be careful about what I post off of YouTube. Because a lot of that news is not accurate. Or either others are just not reporting because when you look it up, Google it or something, you can't find it. And they tell you that it's not true. So be careful of things you post off of YouTube. Because on YouTube, just about every actor and actress that's still or celebrity that's still alive today, they count them as dead on YouTube. And you have to be careful really of internet. YouTube news. Because see, especially the independent. I know a lot of people saying you got to watch independent news. But the problem with independent news, they're trying to get subscribers and likes. And you have to be sure that what they're telling you is accurate and real. And, they have to have a source to back it up. That's why I'm not presenting you news. I'm talking about things that I've seen on the news or things that I know of, and I may talk about it. I could put up news clippings and show videos off the news, but I'm not sure if all that stuff is accurate. And I want to be as accurate as possible. And if I put up something that's not accurate, I'll let you know. But a lot of this YouTube news you can't trust. And then the mainstream news, they're not really reporting much. So it's really getting hard out here as far as news is concerned. Because I have access now to really post some news articles. But that's why I'm reluctant to do it because a lot of it's just not true. After I research it, I find out that it's just not true. So we have to be very careful about what we put out off of YouTube news or independent news because a lot of it can't be trusted. And see, back to the Los Angeles. So, like as I told you, I lived in Los Angeles for quite a while. And the black people had nothing but trouble from Latinos out there. They couldn't stand us, caused a lot of trouble for us. So a lot of black people just left Los Angeles. Los Angeles don't have a whole, excuse me, it doesn't have a whole lot of black people in it now. Most of the black people moved to the outlying areas, Torrance, Hawthorne, Inglewood. Many of those old black areas in LA that you knew about, Watts and South Central, they're mostly Latino now. Because there was so much trouble with them, black people got tired of it. And let them take the slum areas. And now we're supposed to cry over you, march over you? I don't think so. You people of color. See, many of like the people from India, but when Trump does know, many of our scientists are from India and other places. One of the most prosperous ethnic groups in the United States are Nigerians. But you don't hear much about that, do you? Because that's supposed to be one of the S-hole countries that the Orange Man is talking about. And Nigerians are one of the most prosperous ethnic groups in this nation. But you see, they're not going to talk about that because they want to make you think Africa is some backwards place. And you got to see the beautiful cities they have there. Even during when they was back when they was coming grabbing people as slaves, they were grabbing people from in the bush, or those places were warring with each other, and they had sold off the people in prisons and the enemies of war. Because see, Africans are different ethnic groups and nations. The people they sold off, they didn't see as their people. Just like when Hitler was invading Europe, his people were Germans. He didn't see the British and the French and the Poles and all of them as his people. Much of Russia is Caucasian. But you see the United States, don't see them, Russia, as their people. The Chinese don't see the Japanese as their people. So those people in Africa, when they sold off people, they didn't see them as their people. And many people use that as a grounds to say, tell it like as though slavery was okay. Because some Africans sold some Africans, but they didn't sell the people of their ethnic group or nationality. People don't say that other people, their suffering is okay because some of their people participated. All people have participated in atrocities against their own people. I told you the other night about how they don't tell you about the Jews who were Nazis, do they? You don't hear them talk about that when people mention the Holocaust. They don't tell you about how close to 280 to 300,000 Jews were in the Nazi army, helped marching their people to the death camps. But they'll bring up blacks owning slaves, that just to say that slaves was okay, and it's black people who bring that up too. Always pleading the other folks' case for them. Let them plead their own case against us. And the Hispanics, they're not going to plead a case against their people, even though their people are the ones who put them in this mess. And many of you other people of color, you voted for this man, thinking you're going to hurt someone else. They want the Haitians out. But you didn't know you were going also. So to the riots out there in LA, and I'm going to call it what it is, it's a riot. Because people throwing bottles and they're doing Rodney King, when they were throwing bottles and tear gas and um, flash grenades was being shot and smoke bombs, it was called a riot. The LA riots. Why come it's not called the LA riots now? Because that's what it is. It's the LA riots. You know it is. And they say, you have heard many black people say before, if that was us, this would be called a riot. But they don't want to do it now. They won't do it now. They won't call this a riot because it's us. I mean, because it's not us. We can march peacefully, and it's called a riot, which is what we've always done. You got a little violent when other folks start participating, and it was them doing it. Black people didn't want Antifa coming helping to march with us. They just came because their principle of protest was different from black people's principle. At least that. When I say us, I didn't mean us because I kind of go along with Antifa's principle of marching, but I know the people who were having the protest, it wasn't their principles. And what my personal feelings has nothing to do with that. But yeah, we need to continue to chill. Let these people get out there. Let them protest. Get tear gas shot at them. And from looking from what Trump is doing, he's planning even worse. He's planning something even worse. So they just have to go through it. They brought this problem on themselves. So they're gonna have to get themselves out of it. They were having their little dances and all on social media. They're having their Trump dance parties when he won. Well, are you dancing now? I'm gonna see. Don't bring all this stuff about we all need to get along to me because it's like this. When it comes to your people, you can't keep letting people walk all over you. You help them, but they don't help you. Matter of fact, they worked against you. Like I said, during segregation, the Latino business was segregated from black folks also. Most of them. There's a few that weren't, but the majority of them was segregating their businesses from black people. You did everything the other folks did. They did everything white folks did. And you and be honest with you, I wish the Arabs and these Indians that's coming in, because they seem like they're replacing the Arabs now. I wish you would segregate your businesses from us. Please do it. Say no blacks allowed so you can get out. And you black folks open your business and treat the people right. But we have bad community relations, customer service. Can't come have your customers in there, come in there and talk to them any kind of way. Treat them like they're bothering you. And so yeah, we're not worried about other folks. We need to worry about our own people. They were deporting us, those people wouldn't care. That's why they voted for Trump, thought he was gonna do something to us. Yeah, stop DEI. Yeah, let's stop woke. Woke who? We already woke. We know all about ourselves. They were trying to keep you from learning it because there were too many white people getting on black people and other people getting on black people's side. So they're trying to keep it from you, not from us. We don't need no national holiday for Martin Luther King. We'll celebrate it ourselves. As a matter of fact, it may be good we don't let the government get involved in our stuff because they give it to you and take it back when they get it ready. They learned that with abortion. They give it to you and take it back when they get it ready, when the government get involved in it. So yeah, we need to. I think it's best black people just quit counting on the government so much. See, they thought we was counting on them for affirmative action and DEI and the stuff they did to us. They thought we were going to take to the streets. We're taking it like, so what? It's not hurting us. It's not. It's not hurting us. They thought it would. They thought by putting a black face on this stuff that it was going to hurt us. But that's all it was, a black face on it. We wasn't benefiting. How can something hurt us that we're not benefiting from? But they thought we were. This idiot in our Oval Office, he thought we were because he thought affirmative action was for black people. He thought DEI was for black people. But it wasn't. It wasn't for us. It was for them. Everything is for them. Welfare, that was for them. When welfare first came out, black people couldn't get it. They had to make a law for black people to get it. So any type of government program, it's not for us. Even though they pretend and act as though it is, it's not for us. It's for white people. They just put a black face on it, so when they want to turn you against it, you'll be against it because you think you're doing something to hurt black people. So we got you. Now, I don't know what's coming, but we have to get ready for whatever, be it by government action or physical. We got to get ready for it. I tell you, we're hated. I mean, everything we put up on social media, you notice how they're trolling us. And it's to the place now that they haven't realized that we're not even paying them any attention. Just keep on, I see how the people just keep on commenting like they're not even there. And that's the way we need to handle things. Just leave it alone. In the church, they say put it in God's hands. Well, maybe that's what we're doing now. Because I've always said, I don't see anything out of this for black people unless it's going to take some type of divine intervention. Because I just didn't see it. And I still don't see it. And that's going to be what it takes because they're trying to destroy us on every turn. And just that all the things they're using to try to destroy us so far isn't working because it really wasn't for us. They thought it was for us. Turn on my air. They thought it was for us, but it wasn't. It was not for us. They benefited from that. So that's why they're wondering. Everybody keep calling, where the black people at? You weren't worried about where we was at before. We're in our hood that you talk about on social media. In our hood. On our block, like y'all say. Well, leave us alone. Let us stay on our hood, on our block. We can be anywhere we want to be. Go anywhere we want to go. If we wanted to help you, you wouldn't have to be asking for us. We would be there. We asked for you and you weren't there. And I hope no black people go out there and none of this stuff. But like I say, I can't tell you. If you want to go, that's up to you. I can't tell you what to do. But when you end up down in El Salvador or in Sudan, don't come crying. And the black people, they probably gonna send you to Sudan. You give them a reason, they'll send you. And I'm not raising one finger for you. You should have known better. They're trying to gold us out, get us to come out there and protest. Then they're going to call it a riot and ship you off. Well, I'm not going to be long on here tonight. That's my cash up there. You can hit it if you want to, but I'm going to keep presenting anyway because, you know, this is what I do. Now they're going to, you can go out here and get in trouble and get shipped off trying to help these people who actually voted trying to hurt you and other Latinos that they didn't like. Because see, all Latinos don't like each other. They're different ethnic groups. Remember Joe during the campaign when Joe Biden was campaigning, he said that the Latinos were more diverse than black people. But what he didn't realize, they have nationality. All we go by is race. And we don't know our true nationalities. We just go by race. But see, those people have nationality and ethnicities and different cultures that they go by. Now, I would like to see black people in this nation start cultures because right now we don't have any, to be honest with you. What we call culture is not culture, just a bunch of those silly stuff. But look, because your culture is not just your hair, your singing and music. Your culture is supposed to set morals and your morals and the way you operate. Ours don't do that. We just our morals is anything you want it to be. So we're gonna we're gonna have to chill away from helping these people. That's really what I come on and say. We don't need to be out there involved in that. We've done our share of marching, and we know that it don't work. It worked. See, it worked for the civil rights movement. That was an entirely different era. It don't work in this era. And please, black folks, you got to listen. They want you to get out there so they can ship you off somewhere. Have a reason to ship you off to a prison. That's their way. See, this the thing they have for those immigrants. They had that in mind for us too, but we didn't get out there like they thought we would. So keep that in mind. If you want to go out there, I can't stop you. You know, if that's what you feel you must do. Or if you end up in Sudan, don't come talking about with somebody try to get me out of here. I don't care. Because you made your choice. After you've been warned. Don't think you're exempt from being shipped out. If you give them a reason. The reason can't be because you're not a citizen. The reason can't be because you're not a citizen, but it will be because you'll be involved in what they call unlawful act or acts against the state. So I'm going to get ready to sign off. I'm not going to be on here long tonight. So I want to thank you for tuning in to No More Water, Fire next time. And I'd like you to like and subscribe to my channel, CF Champions Media on YouTube, and CF Champions TV on Facebook, and also ESL 89 Blocks Media on Facebook. That's what I'm broadcasting on Facebook now because it has more subscribers to it. And as soon as CF Champion Media match it in subscribers, I still be broadcasting on it also. So thank you for tuning in tonight. I'm gonna sign off and I'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in.